I believe I'm going to be enough. So, in this presentation, I want to move very fast so that we are able to interact. What I believe that's where we can share. There is a time when a job seeker came to my office and I told them, this is what some of us are old-fashioned. So they are saying for not having a microphone, the online people will not benefit. Sorry about that. There is a time when a job seeker came to my office and I took them through the procedures of what we are going to use. And the person promised that he would come for the interview. A few minutes later, the person called me and said, Mr. Musingwire, call me when you have a job that does not require me to do an interview. That is serious. And this is a person with a degree. But you explain to them the procedure, they say, no, I can't manage that. Competence exam? Say, no, that one I cannot. Call me when you don't have that kind of job. And I was defeated. Okay. So let's go to maybe the other thing I'm going to tell you is that one of the standards that we have is that yes, the people are there. I want to give an example that currently we are going to put for immigration officers. But we have received a total of 12,712 for 28 vacancies. 12,712 applicants for 28 vacancies. We have received a total of 34,818 applicants for a total of, I think this about 218 jobs. That means it's a ratio of about, I think it's about 1 to 160. That's the state. But even with that, I know we have got opportunities, but they are, the standards are the ones we cannot observe. I'm telling you about structural realistic, and then you will see. Why don't Ugandans, and now that we have invited the media to work, why Ugandans are not told to observe regulations and policies? Why? You have got the certificates, you don't want them. You are told to certify them, you don't want to certify them. And by the way, when you go to our neighbors in Rwanda, in Kenya, and other ESA partner states, certification is done by the notary public, lawyers. It's funny in Uganda where we take certification to be authentication. Because you cannot authenticate a document which you have not authored. It is only UMI that can certify a document as a true record of the origin, because they are the ones who awarded it. So what will a lawyer do? But when you go there and raise it, they will say no. That's what applies in Uganda. In other partner states, it's different. So why don't we also train our people? That's something that I'm taking up with the ministry. With something to prepare. Actually, I think let me go to my first slide. I want to look at the best standards on the recruitment and my presentation will basically look at the introduction, identifying terms, types of recruitment, legal framework, recruitment process and procedures, best standards of recruitment, some key benefits, and then I will conclude. By way of introduction, I would want to observe that the standards for recruitment processes do exist for one main reason. What my brother in the police force talked about, ensuring fair and effective hiring process. That was his conclusion. You must follow the processes so that there is fairness, so that there is effective hiring. Right? Now, examples of these standards include the ISO 1067. This one provides guidelines for assessment of individuals in work and organizational settings These are international standards. And it covers all aspects of assessment, including planning, institution feedback, etc. It is intended to promote transparency and consistency in assessment. That's just one of the standards. The Society for Human Resource Management also has broad standards on the human resource competence model. This also, among others, helps understand competence needed to succeed in the human resource field. It also helps in the alignment of human resource practices with competencies. The U.S. Equal Employment Commission provides guidelines for fair employment practices. Maybe I will talk about the quality considered as acceptable or desirable. Next, we go to the next, because I want to go over the, now, having talked about the standard, then what are we talking about as best standards? Because that's what we are looking at. We are not just looking at any standard or every standard, but best standard. Now, best standard means the standard known to produce good outcomes if followed. That's the best standard, that's what we want to look at here. We may be talking about the standards of recruitment, but are they going to lead to good results in recruitment? Now, let me talk about the recruitment process. Basically, recruitment process is about identifying, attracting, interviewing, selecting, hiring, and onboarding employees. I remember I was in learning ESC, and we asked a very senior person in this country about the recruitment process. And I was surprised that they could only talk about the process up to selection, and they stopped there. You see, in recruitment, you can talk about recruitment, but you can also talk about selection. So if you are not very well grounded in the profession, you may actually think that recruitment only talks with an interview. But recruitment goes on up to when people are brought on board. Now, the next one is on the what is the recruitment process? Having talked about that, the process, systematic process of finding, screening, hiring, and onboarding qualified job candidates. Now, if it is an external, like the direct recruitment, maybe hunting, maybe green harvest, when people come here to MI and they are identified the best performers, and we during those days, in the 70s and 80s, people would go to the university. As you are in class, someone is there identifying a potential employee. They look at your demeanor, they look at your presentation. But you are not an brilliant person who can be a good employee. You are going to be people who are brilliant, but they are going to give you hard time. So also look at people who are employable. Some of you will tell you that some people will tell you are afraid to get a husband. Others will tell you are afraid to get a wife. But there are so many people out there who are single and searching. Why are you not available? Like the person will tell you, no, that one is not good for a wife, for a husband. You remember the ones that were talking about the torn jeans, damage. Someone looks at you and says, no, this one cannot marry my daughter. But this one will be, but the way you package yourself, the way you present yourself matters. Now, types of recruitment, we may have internal from within the organization, for example, promotions, transfer within the service, transfer service. I don't think I'll have time to take you through this maybe at some other time where I can take you into the details, because I would have to talk about the entire standing order, which is about maybe like 800 pages. Where do I get that time from? But internally, you can go through promotions, through transfers within, or external where you can go for direct recruitment, handling and other things. Like for example, what we are doing, you advertise. That's what the data boys supposed to apply. Phases of recruitment process in my view, they are three. The recruitment planning, the selection process, then the offer and placement. The things that go with that. Three phases in my view. My experience, I have had for the last 29 years in recruitment, that you are worked on the 3 phases. Next. The other one is on these are types. Okay, I can go to the next slide. If it doesn't move, I can look at because my next slide is supposed to talk about the legal frameworks. Whereby, if you are going to talk about recruitment, it must be key in the policy framework. And normally, like in the case of yeah, that's the one. You have got a constitution. The constitution is the supreme law of the land. And therefore, everything that we do, whether it is the police force, whether it is the public service commission, you must look at the constitution. You must look at the acts of parliament. You must look at the international laws and conventions, statutory provisions, policy documents such as guidelines, instruments such as PPC, and then finally, judicial decisions. Someone will tell you that you cannot be recruitment cannot be based on judicial decisions. But you know, we have appointed some people arising out of court rulings, court directives. They say so and so must be appointed. I remember there was a person who applied for a job, the Public Service Commission, and who wrote to Uganda National Examinations Board to verify, and they told us that this person had the 40 O-level. It was A-level, I think, A-level certificate. I think it was an error. Later on, after I finished the exercise, the person that told me said, why was I not considered? He said, you know, you have to show the document. He said, what? He goes back to name. I said, you people have made me lose a job, you will pay. And the person goes to court. But I, you know, when I interacted with this person, the person could hardly answer any question. But court ruled that the person was disadvantaged and should therefore be appointed. We never interviewed the person to get that person is working. The person is working without any intervention. Some people can get Now, the recruitment process and procedure. Now, this other one, on the next one, I was trying to let you know the process briefly, starting from needs identification, preparation of job description and person specification, advise recruitment strategy, advertising, screening and shortlisting of candidates, conducting of interviews. All these part of the process, but that's not our side. Our main concern is the best standards. And that's where I would like to go. I think there could have been a problem when they were sending this document. But the good thing is that I got my over here. The best standards, the best standards, in my view, in two broad categories. There are those which are cross-cutting, but there are also those which are specific to the recruitment selection stages. Now, I would like to rush through the standards which I believe are cross-cutting. One of the standards is the issue of having the best candidates apply and compete no matter the numbers. Now, I've just told you the number of people who have applied, responded to the advert of the immigration office. If you look at the numbers, you would actually be discouraged. But the individual who want to take the best out of this. So every exercise that we do, the standard that should be applied is make sure that you enlist as much as possible, but you must make sure that you get the best of the best. The other one is on the most appropriate method, e.g. competences or aptitude. For example, psychometric tests. You realize that when we are recruiting university graduates entry level, we use aptitude tests. Because all these people have applied for that position are going to be subjected to an aptitude. Aptitude, if you ask me, is very unfair. But how else can you do it? You are looking for a person who is going to be trained, a person without experience. It is only the public service, I think, where we put people without experience, working experience. You come as you are. Come as we are, we shape you and we groom you and after 3 years you are ready to be promoted. After 6 months you are ready to be confirmed. But that's why we emphasize that there must be some elimination criteria. Right? So that's why we think we apply the most appropriate method as the best standard. But if you are coming for the job of a commissioner, we shall employ or subject you to the competence exam. Sometimes you come to a man to have you people examine. You see people writing and sweating. And they complain that we have taken them to the classroom environment. And then we take papers, you see where you are going to write papers. If you are going to be an secretary, you must write a cabinet paper. If you are going to be a researcher, you must do research. So how do you know that you did your research and you did not go and someone just did it for you? Or you don't see someone else's work? You know, these days people are going to have to see other people's work. You don't do your research, but then there are others by the way I'm told who are hired to do research for others. I don't know whether that one is applicable with you, man. You come here and you want to do a master's or a PhD, but you don't do the research. Someone else does it for you. We must ensure data integrity in the process, accuracy and protection laws, because there are laws that ensure that you protect the integrity. You see, if you don't have good integrity, if you don't have data integrity and it's an accident, most likely you arrive at the wrong decision, and that standard will not be appropriate. Observance of cardinal principles now. My brother, the police force talked about a number of them. I have put them together. Observance of cardinal principles of recruitment and selection. There is no standard whatsoever where you will go and you don't observe those. Transparency, professionalism, accountability, integrity, impartiality, respect of diversity of cultures and opinions, especially in the community. That's one of the questions they ask. The core values. One of the questions they ask when you apply for an ESC job is about the knowledge of the East African community. And they will ask you, what are the core values? One time I asked the lawyers, the core values of the East African community. And the person started looking at me. Core values. When you are going to apply for a job, do research about the institution. Get to know what their vision, their mission is about. Right? So, whenever we want to recruit, we observe one of these standards, the cardinal principles in any recruitment process must be there. Conflict of interest. If you go to the district service commission and the city service commission, you'll have to be amazed. Someone says, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to recruit, but I am moving out because of conflict of interest, but this is my only son. My first born, he doesn't have a job, and I am soon retiring from the public service, and so please, but I'm going out because I'm conflicted already, and the person moves out. Conflict of interest. The standard is that if you must do recruitment, you must be totally impartial. This business of high coding jobs, someone is at the university, and they say, give that job for my son or daughter. Yes, you may want to have our people have jobs, but you must do the right thing. I hope IT-based solutions avoid human contact with the nation. These days, it's IT that is really taking us to great heights. So now we have got auto shortlisting. Now again, if you don't capture the data, that's why we talked about data integrity. The machine will throw it out. Now, what I love about IT-based solution is that it reduces human contact. When you started demonstrating, now someone might look at me and they don't write me, don't write my face. But that's how God created me. He says I don't write that man. But then you ask, have you ever interacted with this person? No. And so why do you don't write the person? I think I don't write. My gut feeling tells me there's something wrong with this man. In the same way, I think my seniors in human resources will tell you the hard thing. Someone will look at you and provoke a bias even before you start talking. Hey, he says this one cannot do the job. This one can't do the job. I never forget one time when we went to the local government and someone had hired a medical doctor who had veterinary medicine. And last time he said, but why did you? I said, but if a vet can talk an animal and treat it and it doesn't talk, what about a human being who can talk and they can talk and they can understand? Biases and of course those observing the work. But when you again present it, then they will tell you, no, that's the standard we employ. Sometimes we employ the wrong standard. Now, then there is, I think, there is in any recruitment process, you must adopt the standard of an appeal mechanism. The right to be heard and right of fair hearing is a constitutional provision. If you don't provide room for feedback in any recruitment process, then you are bound to have mega challenges. That's why you get people not coming for their interviews. That's why you get people coming on the gate and they are put in your list by these forces. The person says, I'm coming for an interview, they said you are an intruder. But have you provided an opportunity to communicate to them? Have you communicated? There's a time when one came for an interview and we found the person at the gate was arrested. Because I think the person was sharply dressed. The person was carrying a paper bag. He said, how would you come? You must first. But we had, of course, not alerted the police who are manning the reception that people should be allowed to come with the luggage and then they are arrested. Because the person insisted that he would not leave his watch, his luggage. And they said, we must check. He said, why don't you check my thing? I am here for an interview. He said, okay, you are not leaving, you leave. And there was a stop. So you must also have that appeal mechanism. Then there is the standard. In my view, the standard is the references and the background checks, which are normally carried out. Now, if you don't have reference checks and background checks, and you go for appearance and performance, you are bound to be shocked. I have told you there are people who are very good at in an interview, but you find that they are moving from one place to another, having committed crimes. Yes, for them, once they, like for example now, when we chase away people from district A, they go to district B. When we chase them away from the public service commission, they go to the Uganda police force. Now you can imagine you have chased a criminal, now he has a gun. Now you will have a party, a real party. And the person there is a time when I always give this example, there was, which was very unfortunate, one of the officers who was gunned down. But this person, every time I would get him on the roads, I would find him with the people, lines of vehicles, he was in traffic. Until I took time off and I reported this person to the director. I said, but this person. And eventually, after when they deployed this man at this roundabout at President Towers, I was told later on that on his own volition, he deployed himself to Rwanda and they found him extorting. And that's how I think he left the world. Now, I'm using that one as an example of character. You know, if you go and do your background checks and references and you verify, you actually get that information that this person, you are going to have issues once you include this person. There are people who are chased away from, for example, the IGG. Because of the integrity, they come and join the public side. Now, then when you meet them, they say, oh, you had that. That's why I said, oh, you are finished. I say, why am I finished? Because we will not do background checks. We will not consult the reference, the referees. I remember we had issues with Jennifer Musingwire, former EDO of ACCA, who said you are treating people without integrity, you must first go and verify. And I thought she was really spot on. Right now we are going to conduct interviews for the World Bank project, but people are already up in arms that we are going to carry out different steps and carry out PPPs. If you know you are okay, why do you get worried about someone finding out from your former employers? If you put emphasis, you put your cohorts, you put the people who think are going to conceal information, but what is finding you to find out. So you must also do that background checks. Employer branding, mission, vision, and core values. I think this is one of the standards that should be observed. This is standard. Because if you brand your institution, like PMI, what I was talking about earlier, that's what you are going to receive. Now, people know, without really providing any information, people know that if you come to PMI and another one goes to PRU, the other one will will get a degree faster than you are going to get from PMI. And for them, the branding is different. Come and we shall give you degree. I remember when we were recruiting, people say that if you get engineers from Chambo University are much more practical than engineers from Makerere University. That's the branding. That's what they have been able to articulate. So when we are looking for engineers and we see someone from Chambo, we say that Simba Wakatia. Let's first look at this one. Makerere, they say, let's first see. Let's first check. Have you branded the institution? Is that what you have made the public believe? So institutions must up the game. If Chambo University is much more practical, let other institutions also do the same. Where most of the first class degrees come from in this country, in terms of degrees, you know, I don't want to start mentioning institutions. But you know, how many first classes can you get from nearby? And maybe bachelor's degree, everything there. And those ones who get, I think, they really struggle. But the other institutions might be different. I don't want to go there. Communication strategy at all levels of feedback I've talked about it. You must also learn to protect characteristics which are protectable, e.g. race type must be avoided. When it is start hiring and then you say, have you ever seen an advert where we say that Banyachitara are particularly encouraged to apply? We say people from the north are particularly encouraged to apply. Or you see around the tribe, say this tribe is very aggressive, so we want them in the military. So this tribe is particularly encouraged to apply. We don't do that. Because those are protected areas. And we don't want to go into that, because then that will be discrimination. And it will not be one of the best standards. The issue of job adverts, which should be inclusive and non-discriminatory, I've talked about it. Interviews not stretch on too long. Sometimes when you conduct interviews, some people lose interest. And someone who told me that they were interviewing and one of the technical people fell asleep. You can imagine, you're frustrated. One of the technical people is not engaged for long prior, goes to sleep. So as a candidate, what do? Do you clear your throat? So that the person can wake up so that you scare them and then they wake up. So those are some of the standards that we apply. In my view, those are the standards. The ratios, applicant vacancy ratios in the Public Service Commission will use the ratio of 1:6 and it's the standard. So whether you are 100 or 100,000 applicants, you must interview a maximum of 6 applicants for one job. Finished. It's the standard. Otherwise, you are going to spend the whole day. But guess what? If you go to the District Service Commissions, they can interview 200 applicants for 5 vacancies. Because they are looking for maybe one person. And they say, if you go for up, they will get eliminated. So they say, no, we shall take time and interview. Others have even said, they should not be paid. But they are being good at work. But they interview. Then, of course, the issues of offers and negotiations, when you are going to give the offer, you also want to give the person who is actually going to take interest in the job Standard documents and format of appointment letters, score sheets. These ones, when you go the standing order, you don't allow people just to come up with an activity of any nature. They are standardized documents, appointment, confirmation. Those are basic standards in my view, and you can't go along with them. Otherwise, you see someone writing a love letter instead of writing an appointment letter. Hi, honey. I'm pleased to inform you I've been given a job. If you don't standardize, that's what will happen. So you must make sure that you have the best standards. The other one I think I talked about, like for example, probing interview techniques are standard. You must probe. You know, some people can go and cheat or they leave interview questions. But when you probe, you always get the truth always comes out. You will probe them and you see them getting jittery. Finally, they will say pass. You know that one I think had been told what they were going to ask. Compliance with application procedures. I talked about this at the beginning. I get so sudden when Ugandans cannot be shortlisted for international jobs and regional jobs. These are very high paying jobs. You see a person, you know this person will pass. If I can give an example, you see a director of human resource in Uganda Management Institute, you know this person is a guru of human resource management. And you want a director of financial administration, or rather human resource administration in the East African community. But you find that the director has not been shortlisted. So you use a good candidate, and you see other people who are substandard actually getting these jobs. So you also need to follow the procedure. Now, having said that, there are quite a number of other things that we may not talk about here in form of standards. But this one we can discuss at any one time because there are quite a number that we are talking about the best, what we think is the best that we can discuss. Now, arising out of this, we may have some key benefits arising out of these standards, minimizing the costs. E-recruitment can actually minimize costs and promote efficiency. This paperwork, like now when you go for the exams at Makerere University, the system tells you your score, so you don't have to deal with anyone. You do your paper, once the time is up, the computer automatically shuts down, marks you and gives you your score. That's it. So you are not going to complain to anyone. But you see, for me, I've been given this last frustration that most of the people are going through. But you might discuss and save time. This one is also eliminates a lot of human contact and all associated problems when you adopt some of these standards. There is objectivity in the recruitment process and this assessment decision making. It enables the agency to recruit, enables the agency or recruiter to be assessed and definitely to get this litigation has become a problem, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the challenges that I will talk about. Every exercise that you are handled in recruitment is either going to ITC, or it is going to court, or it is going to Equal Opportunities Commission, or it is going to State House and Corruption Unit. You can name them. They attack you from all angles and eventually you give up. So if you have the best standards and the time, I think you are going some of those things. Higher on merit and all benefits realized. Yes, we have talked about transparency, we have talked. Remember the objective is to make sure that you get the best out of the best so that you don't compromise the system. That's what the best standards can do. Now, before I conclude, I would like to talk about some of the key challenges. Very few. We have got too many applicants and too few jobs as we talk. At least for entry-level jobs. But that's not to say that in other places there are no jobs. We have got senior jobs. You know, we have had to advertise jobs and we don't get people. We have had to do sourcing. You go and look for people, and you identify them when you say so and so, you're an expert, come and give you a job. Now, people whenever used to apply for jobs in the public service, when the president promoted the scientists to higher salary, everybody now wants to be in the public service. So we have registered numbers that we have never seen before because of some of those things. The other challenge I think is that we have got too many interests. Regulators have talked about, and all of them are independent and they are entitled to their views. So when the IDP investigates you and clears you, State House is knocking on the door and they are saying, have you been cleared? What about this one? When that one is cleared, People Protective Commission says, please hold. We are still looking at it. I think there is need for coordination so that we can streamline. Non-compliance. For example, I've talked about our high rumors and press reports that some district service commissions, for obvious reasons, civil service commissions, they don't want to comply. So that's one of the problems. And the biggest of all is lack of integrity. For me, if you ask me with my years of experience, I will tell you that the biggest challenge that this country has now is lack of people with integrity. And I will say it without any fear of contradiction, that integrity is going to be the most wanted quality in any recruit. Whether you are at management level or where, you must have integrity. If you don't have integrity, forget all about the other. Our people, integrity is about doing the right thing even when nobody is policing you, even though nobody is looking at you. You are on your own and then you start saying, but this money can I don't speak that money, it's not yours. You are recruiting someone says, I can pay you money. For me, I can keep a disclaimer. You don't come to me to pay me money so that you can get a job. You get a job because you qualify for it. Right? So that's one of the challenges, and in my view, the solution is to re-engineer training, re-engineer employment processes and procedures, and also sensitize our people. I always tell people that in any situation, you must choose where you want to be. I would end by telling you that the best standards depend on the specific needs and context of the organization, and recruitment standards establish the success or failure of an exercise. Observance of the standards call for commitment of all stakeholders, and some of the standards may apply on case-by-case basis. If you look at the basic standards, sometimes you must look at the case on its own merit. I'll give an example. If you get two candidates tying for the same position, and one of them is a lady who is disabled, and another one is maybe a man who already has a job elsewhere, don't you think you'll be tempted to say, but this disabled lady who is a single parent deserves this job more than the other one? I'm not trying to say that we have compromised the standard. They have tried. They are the same level, they are back. So you look at that case with its own merit. Say this lady is disabled, this lady is a single parent, and this lady has excelled. But the other one has a job elsewhere. Maybe the other one has also said, maybe I will need more money. Who has told you, like what they talked about, I work for you for only 3 years. But the lady says, I'm committed, I want to work. So you look at that case on its own merit, even when there is that standard. And without any objective arising from the standards, the exercise is not fair. Ladies and gentlemen, I will end with a story. One time we were told that there was a Mchiga man who went to visit a friend. And among the Mchiga, they have got this tradition of being given presents. But you know, this Mchiga also very, very straightforward. Mchiga will take you off. They don't like you, they will tell you, pick off, I don't like you. They don't sweeten their words. So I understand this Mchiga was given a present of a piglet. Now piglets can be very nice since they are young. And this person put it on a bicycle. And of course, decided to go home. But on his way home, he passed via a bar to some bit of Omaramba. That's the traditional room. And he put in and of course was excited. Now, these children who are there, they made an observation that there was something making noise in the box. So they went there and picked the piglet. It was so nice, they wanted to play with it. But then they knew this man was very tough. So they brought an ugly-looking pack and put it back in the box. So this man came, he was already there. So he went home. When he reached home, he said, I know my friend gave me a present. All the children was scampering for their dear lives. The kapatu was very ugly. It was very scary. So when they told the father, they said, the father says, this one does not know me. You give me this kind of thing? And the president says, let me go and we see each other. So the man gets on his bicycle. When he gets to the other place, he says, let me first stop her, so that I can face him squarely. He parks there. These children saw him, they said, now we are finished, the man has realized. So they came and put back the what? The piglet, and removed their pack. So the man went speak and said, you man, you are hopeless. We are going to fight. And I started falling in sleep. So the other one said, please calm down. That is the problem. He said, you deceived me, I'm going to teach you a lesson. He said, how did I deceive you? He says, why do you give me this aggressive? He says, open and we see. When they open, what did they find? Piglet. He says, officer, excuse me, I know where the problem is. He got on his bicycle, and when you got somewhere and open, he said, you piglet, you are the problem. You must decide now either to remain a piglet or to become a puppet. And that was how the problem was resolved. So what am I saying? As the alumni of UMR, you must choose where you want to be. You are either for standards or for lack of standards, and there will be turmoil. I would like to thank you very well for listening to me, and may God bless you.